The drug which we are going to study today is Helleborus Niger. I don't know what to say about this drug, even though this drug has got a small information, but I have seen a lot of cases where Helleborus is responded, especially in pediatric practice. Okay, children with huge head, hydrocephalus, so parents will bring, we find very difficult, but we don't know whether it will act or not. I have seen many cases of Helleborus acted very well in hydrocephalus. Helleborus also have used in practice, especially of children who get frequent epilepsies, especially maybe after a head injury and leading to epilepsy. We have to rule out arnica. Arnica comes very close to the Helleborus. I have seen Helleborus also used in case of CP childs. I am not saying that Helleborus you must, as a specific remedy, you must understand the person. You must analyze the case. One word, Helleborus means hell, full of dark, hopeless, seizures. Child is not answering anything asked, putting finger to the nose. Child is boring the head into the pillow, and all that things we see in rest of the slides. The drug which we are going to study today is one of the important remedy in pediatric practice. The children who is very dull mentally, the children who are failed to thrive, they are unable to grow physically, the children who has got a motor disabilities, children who are almost paralyzed, children who get frequent epilepsy, the children who got huge head and when investigated it is found to be hydrocephalus, children who are very poor development in the mentally, the poor development physically, you can think of the remedies. One of the very important remedy, the remedy is Helleborus Niger. The common names are Christmas rose, it's also called as black hellebore, and it's also called as Veratrum nigrum. And why, we'll see why it's called Christmas rose, why it's called black hellebore, why it's called Veratrum nigrum. So details in the next slides you can see. It belongs to the natural order of Ranunculaceae. We have got many drugs from the family Ranunculaceae like aconite, Actioracemosa, Actius picata, Adonis vernalis, Peonia, Pulsatilla, Staphylos agria, Clematis, Hydrastis, etc. There are many drugs. Long list of drugs are there from the Ranunculaceae. We should not get confused. There are Helleborus. There are three other drugs: Helleborus fetidus, Helleborus orientalis, and Helleborus viridis. How to differentiate this plant we'll see in the next slide. The black Helleborus was described by Carl Linnaeus in his volume 1 of this book called Species Plantorum, which was published in the year 1753. The scientific name comes from the Greek word called helion, which means injuries, and bora, which means food, referring to the toxic effect of this plant when you consume as a food. It is called Niger, Helleborus niger. Niger means a black because of the root. The root is a dark black in color. And you should not get confused. There is a drug called Veratrum album, which is called a white Helleborus because of the root, which is white. And that is a different family called Melanthaceae. This drug is found in the mountain areas, cold places, Switzerland, southern Germany, Austria. Such areas this drug was found abundantly. Helleborus, the flower is white in color. There are one more variety, which is pink colored flower. This is not a so much height growing plant. This plant is a very short, but a large flat flower borne with a short stem. That is a peculiarity of this particular flower, and which has got a centrally yellow portion. I said in the beginning there are three varieties extra are there in this Helleborus. One is Helleborus fetidus, Helleborus orientalis, and Helleborus viridis. You can see down the Helleborus viridis, the whole flower is green. You can see it looks like a leaf only modified and became a flower, but whole flower is a dark green color. That is called Helleborus viridis. And Helleborus orientalis, a big flower with a small dots will be there. And you have got Helleborus foetidus, which is a small set of flowers. We are not going to talk much about about this particular varieties. We are more concentrating on Helleborus niger. Helleborus niger is also called as a Christmas rose. You can see that color of the flower, pink rose colored flower. There is a mythological reason why they called it as a Christmas rose. There is a old legend that it sprouted in the snow from the tears of a young girl who had no gift to give the Christ child in Bethlehem. That is one more reason. Another reason is that this particular flower blooms especially during the Christmas season. Because of that, it is called as a Christmas rose. There is a history for the black Helleborus. Black Helleborus was used by the ancient to treat insanity, to treat melancholy or depression, to treat gout and epilepsy. That was the history before it has been proved homeopathically. Parts used for preparing medicine are the root gathered after the flowering. It has been proved by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. The main sphere of action of Helleborus niger mainly on the brain, spinal cord, meninges, sensoriums, kidneys, muscles, mucus and serous membranes. These are the main sphere of action. What are the pathophysiological action of Helleborus niger? It will produce a kind of congestion of the entire brain, spinal cord, meninges. There is a kind of inflammation of the brain, spinal cord and membranes, and it will go to extent where there is a accumulation to a hydrocephalus and leading to stupefaction and leading to unconsciousness. This is the pathophysiological action of Helleborus niger. Thermally, this is in a chilly patient. Now let's see what are the various authors said in one word about Helleborus niger. Hahnemann says, I conclude from various observations that one of the first effect of black Helleborus is a kind of stupor, a condition where with sight is unimpaired, nothing is seen very fully and the patient does not pay any attention to anything. He used one word to describe Helleborus as a stupor. Person is will be not answering your question. Person is very dull. Person looks like idiotic. Typical features of you see in other drugs like brain fag remedies like califos, dull stuporous conditions like opium, like gelsemium. Dr. Allen called it as a bluntness of sensibility. Entire sensations are blunt, mentally, physically. That's what Allen says. Dr. Herring describes the effect of Christmas rose as a perfect feature of acute idiocy. Now let us see the hell, the word hell. Generally, what we see hell means a darker. Hell means something bad. Hell means full of struggles, full of difficulties. So similarly, you see in Helleborus, the adjective hell seems to be black. A low state of vitality, so no much vitality. A serious diseases when everything around the patient looks darker, like a hell. Face, lips, hands are turned to black. Mind and brain seems to be in a darker, is become blunt, and responses are sluggish. So remember, Helleborus means hell. Hell, and everything what you imagine about hell, you can see in a person who's suffering. That's what. In short, in one word, description of Helleborus niger. Helleborus is mainly adapted to the individuals where the complaints appear gradually. Complaints appear for weeks to come. It is not at all like belladonna and stramonium. Complaints appear very fast. Complaints comes very gradually, and person remains in the same condition for months together. Typical psychotic features you can see, but gradually emaciating. Complaints comes gradually. It is adapted to the individuals who are pale and sickly. When questioned, he answers very slowly. We have to differentiate bapticia, arnica, plumbum, phosphoric acid. In bapticia, while questioning, he'll fall asleep in the middle of the answer. Where arnica, he says nothing wrong with him, I'm fine, but again he'll fall asleep while answering because he's too toxic. Plumbum again, he'll fall asleep in the middle of the answer. Whereas we have one drug, phosphoric acid. He answers very correctly, and once his answer is over, he is again going back to the stuporous condition. It's also adapted to the individuals where the muscles are so weak they refuse to obey the will. It has been said that muscles refuse to obey the will of an individual. Typically, we have remedies like gelsemium, remedies like causticum. It is also adapted to the individuals where the skin of the forehead is wrinkles in the fold with cold sweat. Adapted to the children who are very weak, delicate, psoric children who are prone to brain troubles, children who are prone to meningitis, children who are prone to encephalitis, who are prone to hydrocephalus, children who are prone to global development delay, children who are prone to CP. So for such individuals, Helleborus is an excellent remedy. Now we will see what are the keynote indication of Helleborus. The first keynote indication which you can read is each word by word is important. It is indicated for weakly delicate psoric children who are prone to brain troubles with serous effusion. So you can think a child who is very weak mentally and physically, very weak child, who is very delicate child, who is of psoric miasmatic background, and very often is going to the brain troubles. The remedies like belladonna, calcarea cup, tuboinum, and it is not only just brain troubles, it is going towards the serous effusions. So you can think of meningitis, encephalitis, and even a condition malnutrition. A child is marasmus and going for hydrocephalus. So that is the first indication. So who are weakly delicate psoric children who are prone to brain troubles and finally leading to a serous effusion. You can think of Epis also as another remedy. Second indication, very important, and you might have read many other remedies. The person is unconscious. He remains like a stupid. When you ask any question, he answers slowly, and sometimes middle of the answer he is unconscious when questioned. A picture of acute idiocy. We have remedies are bapticia. He is again remains unconscious state. When you ask him any question, he'll answer and fall asleep. Arnica, he says that I am fine, I don't have any problem, but again with the kind of neurological manifestation, he is also become unconscious. Whereas you have got phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid is a person who is very clear. He'll answer you everything, and after answering everything, he'll fall asleep. That is acute idiocy. So chronic idiocy you see in Baraita cow. The third indication, the brain symptoms develop during the time of dentitions, like belladonna, podophyllum. It is not only just a brain symptom, it is going to a effusion, Epis and tuboinum. You can imagine a child is perfectly fine. Once the dentition started, child developing neurological features, like during the time of dentition, child is going towards epilepsy, or during the time of dentition, child is getting high temperature, later on is going to the meningitis and encephalitis, and it is progressing towards the effusions like hydrocephalus. So you can have many remedies, dentitional problems like Sina, you got dentitional problems, chamomilla, you got dentitional remedy, silicea, you got dentitional remedy, calcarea carb. All those dentition leading to diarrhea, dentition leading to constipation, dentition leading to vomiting, dentition leading to fever. They are the superficial remedies, but this is the dentition problem leading to more deeper to the brain effusion. So the level of thinking is different. It is not just a remedies like Sina, chamomilla, calcare. It is going more deeper to the brain, where it comes Helleborus. The fourth point, which is there in front of you, it is excellent remedy in the management of meningitis, maybe of acute onset or cerebrospinal, maybe of tubercular, with exudation, And sometimes this complication of meningitis which is going towards the paralysis, maybe a partial or maybe complete paralysis, and it is also indicated with cryencephaly, that is nothing but neonatal hypoxic ischemia of the brain. For all such condition you can think of Helleborus. Fifth key indication, which we already said in the other 4 points, which finally leading to hydrocephalus. Any patient or child who comes to our clinic with hydrocephalus, we should not be prejudiced, but we should always think that Helleborus is one of the choice of remedy. We need to analyze the reason for hydrocephalus, the various remedies, maybe a constitutional approach, maybe a specific approach, whatever the approach, where Helleborus you should consider as one of the remedy. Here hydrocephalus may be of post-scarlatinal or tubercular, which develops rapidly. See, complaints develop slowly, otherwise almost all the complaints. But after the once meningitis encephalitis, which is finally leading to hydrocephalus rapidly. Suddenly, which was there for certain weeks, certain months, which one shot it is increasing rapidly, like epis, sulfur, tuboinum, with neurological manifestation like automatic movement of one arm and leg, especially left-sided. Automatic movement of one arm and leg, we have remedies, apocynon, bryonia, zincum, calibromatum. There are various remedies. Sixth point for Helleborus, as we all know, it is mainly a neurological remedy. Maybe initial part, inflammation which is progressing to serous accumulation, and finally convulsion with extreme coldness of body except head, which is very similar to arnica. Convulsions with extreme coldness of the body except the head or occiput, which may be hot, which is very similar to arnica, with twitching of muscles during sleep. So I have mentioned that word except head in red. Convulsion with whole body is cold except the head or the occiput, which remains hot, which is very similar to arnica, with twitching of muscles. The seventh point, I think many of the students, many of the practitioners will always remember this point. Constantly picking his lips, constantly picking the clothes. Child is constantly picking the lips, child is constantly picking the clothes, or child boring the head into the pillow, or child boring the nose with fingers like Sina. With perfectly conscious, we have remedies aurum, whereas this child is not with conscious. Sometimes child is very dull, child is idiotic, child doesn't know what it is doing. Sometimes with his child is unconsciously doing, whereas with consciously doing we have a remedies aurum. Child is boring the head into the pillow like apis, rolling from side to side like belladonna, cicuta, cuprum, hyacinthus, lycopodium, opium, podophyllum, stramonium, tuberculinum, and zincum. Child also beating the head with hands. So the seventh point, many people know, child rolls the head from side to side, child is unconscious, child is stuporous, whereas one more person, one more child with consciously doing, that is aurum. The eighth key indication of Helleborus in the manifestation of diarrhea, especially diarrhea in children, or during acute hydrocephalus, or diarrhea during dentition. It's also a remedy for diarrhea during pregnancy. It is watery, clear, tenacious, colorless, mucus, white, sometimes jelly-like. It has also been described, the stool is like a frog spawn, greenish in color, sometimes involuntary. We have many remedies that green colored stool, frog spawn like stool. We have remedies like magnesium carb, we have remedies sanicula, we have remedy ipecac. These are the variety of remedies where the green colored stool like a frog spawn. Next point, Helleborus, this is also many times we remember, the urine is black, scanty, sometimes like a coffee ground sediments, especially this color urine with brain troubles, suppressed brain troubles leading to a dark colored urine, which is not a good sign, or urine is a dark black with dropsy. You can think of Helleborus as a remedy. Next important indication with the time modality, which comes very close to our great lycopodium. The typical aggravation at 4 to 8 p.m. That is the indication in case of Helleborus. 11th point, it has been described in many of the books. Helleborus child is very greedy, always swallows cold water. Even though child is unconscious but eating a lot, child nurses greedily with disgust for food. We have remedy. Child is greedily swallowing cold water. We have remedies like arsenical, bryonia, sulfur. Helleborus is also given in the management of dropsy, especially after scarlatina, or dropsy after suppressed skin eruptions. We have got many remedies for the dropsy. Most commonest remedies are epis, which is most of the time of renal origin. Then we have got arsenical, which is mostly given in the terminal cases or dropsy after respiratory reasons. Then we have got digital, is more of cardiovascular causes. Kalicab is again a remedy for cardiovascular reason. Lachesis dropsy, more of hemorrhagic reason or dropsy of uterine origins. Lycopodium is again a dropsy of renal origin. Phosphorus is a polycrest drug which covers all the areas. Dropsy may be of respiratory, dropsy of renal, dropsy of vascular region. Sulfur again covers entire thing. Terebinthine is again a dropsy most of the time of renal and gastric origin. Dropsy even after malarial fever, dropsy of renal origin, which is covered by Helleborus. The 13th point of Helleborus, which we already mentioned in the adaptability, the forehead is drawn into folds like abrotanum and which is covered with cold perspirations like veratrum album. That is the indication of Helleborus. And 14th point, rigidity of muscles of the neck and limbs, either one-sided or both the sides, which we can think of most of the time in cerebral palsy. 16th point, it is very similar to arnica. It is a remedy for concussion of the brain after arnica has failed. We have remedy cicuta, and we have also remedy Ellosocratina, which is also remedies given for after concussion, natrum sulph. 17th point, which is indicated for paralysis, more or less complete with brain troubles. Let us see what are the causative reason for Helleborus personality. One is element from meningitis, element from typhoid fever, tuberculosis, element from trauma, element from dentition. We have a lot of remedies during dentition, complaints during pregnancy, element from hydrocephalus, element from suppressed discharge, suppressed eruption. We have got a lot of remedies, zinc, sulfur, sorinum. Elements from anemia, we have got again for that we have big list of remedies we are not going to discuss over there. And peculiar time modalities, aggravation evening, aggravation 4 to 8 p.m. like lyco, aggravation cold air, aggravation dentition, aggravation at the time of puberty, aggravation exertion, aggravation also by any suppressions. They are ameliorated by open air, ameliorated by strong attention. We'll see about Helleborus mind. As the four letter of Helleborus, Hell, which stands for hell. You can imagine how the hell will be. You might have heard in some stories, you might have heard people are talking about, and you can imagine how the hell is full of dark, full of hopeless. There's no light, full of low spirited, full of sadness, dullness, So that is the typical state of mind of Helleborus, as if you are in hell. Okay. When you question him, Helleborus patient, he is not in a position to answer. He'll be either semi-conscious or sometimes is in an unconscious state. When you try to wake him up by force, out of agitation, he may answer. The answer also totally illogical. He'll start speaking about devils, that I have seen the devil. I have seen some spirits full of hallucinations, full of illusion, full of imaginations. When you try to ask him further, he may put again wings and tails for that. He say that I saw a devil with two horns and a tail. This is the typical feature of Helleborus, a typical of idiotic behaviors you can see in Helleborus. In adult, Helleborus also has got some hysterical behaviors, a kind of insanity. She imagines that she has committed some unpardonable crime, that she has committed her sins and will not forgive him, or God will not forgive her. It's a typical mental state, a kind of depressions like Aurum, that she has done something mistakes in her life, she has done some sins, and especially when his behavior going towards the insanity. If you have a child of Helleborus, the child will be very dull, child will not look at you, child will be boring the head into the pillow, sometimes child will put finger to the nose, you question, child looks vacant, a totally an idiotic child, no response at all. Sometimes there is involuntary sighing like an Ignatia, sometimes totally unconsciousness, picking the lips, picking the bedclothes. So this is a typical Helleborus child. Child is highly irritable, child gets easily angered, doesn't want anyone disturbing. As an adult, doesn't like any consolation. Person will be melancholic, person will be of low spirited. This is in short about Helleborus. Don't forget the word hell. This slide, which tells everything about Helleborus in nutshell, it's like a summary. Helleborus, the central, which I mentioned bold, which is hell. Then we can see in the left first corner, it is the adaptability for weakly delicate children, especially complaints during dentitions, and all neurological problem develops after the dentition. Brain, spinal cord, kidney, mucus, and serous membrane affection. All these things has got an inflammatory pathology, which is maybe of meningitis, maybe of encephalitis, maybe of exudations and accumulation leading to hydrocephalus. And because of meningitis, encephalitis, and hydrocephalus, they are prone for epilepsy. Because of all this reason, maybe of meningitis or encephalitis or hydrocephalus or epilepsy, they are always in a stuporous condition. They'll be typical kind of idiotic look, idiotic behaviors, and they'll be unconscious when you ask him anything. They'll be always in sleepy, like opium. And child will be of idiotic behaviors. Child bores the head to the pillow, or child rolls the head from side to side. Child will pick the bedclothes. Child will use fingers to bore the nose, and which is mostly either due to meningitis or encephalitis or hydrocephalus. Child is behaving like that, and child also has that greedy, especially swallows cold water. And we have in the left side corner we have the dropsy, where the urine is very scanty, and urine has got a coffee ground sediments, which is very characteristic of Helleborus. And Helleborus is also indicated for diarrhea, where it is like a green color, like a frog spawn, sometimes jelly like stool. Helleborus is also indicated for paralysis, entire or one part, with rigidity of muscles, especially of the neck and the limbs. and also indicated for concussion of the brain. All these things will tell us a nutshell about Helleborus, which is very easy to remember if you have a glance about this slide. This is mostly for the students, for the exam point of view, and also for the easy remembrance. H stands for hydrocephalus, H for hell, E stands for encephalitis, L stands for low state of vitality, another L stands for likes cold water, greedy to drink cold water. E also stands for epilepsy, E stands for emaciation, E also stands for effusions. B stands for bores the head to the pillow, or B also stands for brain symptoms during and after dentition. O stands for one arm and leg moves involuntarily. R stands for rigidity of muscles, rolls from side to side. U stands for urine is scanty, coffee ground sediments, and U also stands for unconsciousness. S stands for serous accumulation, suppressed eruptions. S stands for sluggish, sweat, cold. Stool is frog spun. All these things are in summary about Helleborus.